Thank you. Trevor, Trevor's gonna do the pledge for us.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Trevor. Okay. Next, public input. Nope. All righty. Now then, got one under new business. Normally, when we get to this point, it has to be a motion before we discuss, but we're going to have some discussion first. So I'm going to open the floor up. I'm going to let the director of schools speak first. And if you want to address something or ask a question, the finance director or the director of schools, just ask for the floor like you normally do. And I will kind of keep an eye on things. And when it kind of winds down, and I see that everybody's through discussing, I will then call for the question. We'll vote on the, kind of like that. Okay, that suit everybody. So, Director,
Thank you.
you got the floor.
All right. Within this budget, we tried to be very conservative and look at what we knew we were going to bring in. Coming in last year in the approved budget, total TISA that we budgeted was right just shy of 46 million. And now this year we're projecting out 49.4 million, and that gets us the money that we feel like after 1 year of TISA we're getting this money, and we feel comfortable with that. There again, we hope we get 1,000 or 2,000 more than we project, but we want to be safe. We never want to come back and say, you know, we're $1 million over what we projected. You know, we don't want to ask for additional funds. So that's what you see in that line and lines throughout whenever we're projecting revenue coming in. It is a lot of 82% of this budget's made up of salaries and benefits. You know, that's a little bit ahead of where we, you know, they say you should be around 80%. So we're a little above that. That shows that we're paying our employees a fair wage, that we're staffing enough employees, and that within the state, the governor's initiative to push beginning pay to $50,000 by year 26-27 is the largest raise in the state of Tennessee history. And just remember that that is not 100% funded by the state. So the county, we have to come up with around 30% of that amount of money. So for instance, if it's 1.5 million is the raise, then we have to come up with 30% of that funding, or around $450,000 would be our part. There's been years whenever we haven't had, you know, a raise only cost the school system $600,000, whereas this year it's way above that. So anytime we give, so if a new teacher's making $42,000 as a brand new teacher, and the next year beginning pay goes to $42,500, we have to increase everybody $42,500, or a new person will be making more than a second or third year teacher. So that's important for us to do. And then you'll see in there, whenever we do a raise, all associated costs. So as we increase salary, then everything else has to increase. TCRS, which is the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System, so retirement increases, Social Security increases, Medicaid increases, everything has to go along with that, with tied to salaries. And then you also see significant increases in our medical insurance, or is a significant increase this year. I believe that was that 5%?
It's 5%, and that is just for half a year.
Right.
That's starting January 2025 through June.
So we're on a July to June, and the insurance company's on a
Calendar year.
Yeah,
We're on a
calendar.
fiscal year.
we've got hourly pay increase in at 4%. We talked a little bit today in setting up the board's strategic plan, 5-year plan, and it was mentioned in there that the board consider having an initiative that, you know, hey, we're gonna give our employees 3%. And that's what we're gonna strive to do. If it's a good year, like right now, we can give them a little bit more. But last year it was 5, this year it's 4. It's proposed in the budget. It gets hard. You know, I've talked along, whenever I first came in, about bonuses. You know, bonuses sound good until you get down the road 3 years and you're making the same amount of money you were 3 years ago, and that bonus money's no longer around. So tying it to salaries is beneficial to our employees, and building that those salaries up. There again, whenever it talks about a 4% raise, that is for all classified employees, non-teaching positions that have an hourly rate. We also have in there, so more positions came into the 141 budget as ESSER's gone away. Some of that was with TISA outcomes money. So we took money from this year, TISA outcomes. We've reserved those funds, put them in this year's budget, be able to fund part-time tutors, fund those early grade instructional assistants in support within that classroom for initiatives. Many of you you've had those budget notes, you've looked over them. Chair, I'll open it up if they have any questions.
Okay.
Go from there.
Okay, you're done.
I'm done.
You want to ask the finance director anything?
On the notes that you gave us before I actually asked you about the budget, it said on page 2, the back of page 1, you have JCS will pay for 3 SROs. I know the state gave us money for SROs this year. Is that in addition to the SROs that were hired with the state grant?
And I talked some today. We believe that 3 has reduced to 2.
Okay.
So what that is the grant pays for SROs in school buildings. To be a school building, you have to have a school number. Patriot Academy is not a school. So it doesn't get funding for an SRO.
Because it's considered part of the high school.
That's correct. But I relocated the adult high school into a room in Patriot Academy that is a school and gets funding for an SRO. So that is the reduction from 3 to 2. And then we have 2 SROs at the high school. So That is one, and we have a SRO at the alternative school. That is the second position that we fund.
So in addition to the monies that we are getting from the state, we are, as a district, paying full salaries for 2 additional SROs.
Yes, and the money from the state goes to the county, to the sheriff's department, and the sheriff hires those SROs out of his budget. And he even pays these 2 SROs, and then we reimburse at year end.
Secondly, again, from the notes that you gave us, on the capital outlay, it says $400,000 is set aside for capital improvements. When I looked at the budget, last year we set aside $856,000,
Yes.
and I was wondering why the drastic decrease in the amount of money we're setting aside for capital improvements.
Sure. And if you turn to the back page, that would be page 14. Down at the bottom, you see 82100, 82200. Those are principal on bonds and interest on bonds. So that is paying for our energy project. So that is using that capital outlay money to pay off capital project debt within that we have to pay for our energy project,
Okay.
for our lighting project.
Okay, so rather than going into actual repairs, it's going into paying the debt on the energy project.
So that money was for capital projects. And I would consider this a capital upgrade,
Sure.
and it's going to pay for that there. So roughly $180,000 of it. We also, in talking to Austin, we have some capital projects that are, we have culinary, it's ongoing. We have the livestock pavilion that is, hopefully we get started this fall. Paving, we have a bunch of projects. So rekeying the whole district is a very tedious, time-consuming project. So we also feel like $400,000 is very adequate to meet our needs
Good.
and the ability that we have right now.
Oh, yeah, I figured it. I just didn't know what the big difference was.
That's where some of that money went.
Gotcha. Now, on page 1, the fund balance that is quoted is $11,152,979. Is that less the $110,000 that we voted for the monitor program and the $3.9 million that we voted to put towards the HVAC?
It is not, so that's not been approved by county commission.
Oh, that's right, yeah, they'll do that later this
So-
week.
I
Okay.
think that's property tax. Is the 11 million, is that what you're looking at?
That's what he's looking at, but he's also
I'm
thinking,
looking
Right
at the
above
fu-
it is the $106,830 use of fund balance. That's that motion that was just made last Thursday
Okay,
for the bus monitors. We had it at a 0
Right.
use of fund balance, and once we added it in, we had estimated around 110,000.
so do we know if that's approved and if the HVAC expenditure is approved, what will that bring our fund balance to, do we know?
It will. So the HVAC will be this fiscal year, right now.
Okay,
This will be using next fiscal year's fund balance, but if they're both approved along with the playground, that's pending, $250,000. It's around $6.4 million.
okay, so we'll start out next year with $6.4 million in the fund balance.
Well, you potentially might have more, because when we close our year end, you might have a rollover.
Okay,
So, I'd hate to say you'll start out around that, because I don't know what your next
Yeah,
motions will be next month.
but minimum
or-
it will be 6.4.
Right now, it is a little above 6.4.
Great. Page 1, again, what category are, on the front page, on the revenue, what category, which of these categories is eliminated Wait, or is the wheel tax income eliminated from?
No, wheel tax is received by school funds. It goes to the county debt service
Ah, okay,
for school debt.
for school debt, okay,
Yes.
thank you.
So that's county debt fund 151.
But that goes to them.
And you will, if you see the county budget being presented, you'll see a decrease
Gotcha.
in revenue.
What happens if the wheel tax is not passed? Where'd that money come from?
The wheel tax was not passed.
That's what I say, if it's,
So the second one that was expiring this past April 1st, it did expire. It's gone. So we only have one wheel tax now currently.
but if they don't pass that, we won't have any,
That one does not have an expire date on it.
it does not.
No, sir. So we will have one wheel tax. They do have a resolution going before them this Monday evening to, do a new wheel tax.
Yes, ma'am.
And if it is passed, it has to be 2/3 majority vote for 2 consecutive regular scheduled meetings. So it'll be presented Monday. If it's passed by 2/3, it'll be presented again July. And then it wouldn't go into effect until October 1st.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
On page 2, 7100, regular instructions, item 4.3, textbooks and electronic, you have an additional $96,000. Is that for the additional laptops that we're buying for students this year?
So that's, I believe that is, that is additional, technology. I believe that's MVPA out of TISA Outcomes money that's going in there to pay for that MVPA. There again, do not ask me what that stands for right now. We talked about one time, it's a testing platform for the upper grades,
Okay,
within,
so that's like software or an app or whatever?
yes,
Okay,
yes, that's what that is.
okay. And then on page 4,
Let me just, while
Okay, go
you're
ahead.
on that page 2,
you go right ahead.
right below that 96,000 is a large increase in textbooks bound.
Right,
That deals with the science adoption. So that textbook electronic is like MVPA, iReady, those types of software. And then the textbook bound goes with the new science
yeah,
adoption.
yeah, okay. Let's see, number 720, on page 4, 72110, attendance, number 189. Other salaries and wages, a decrease of 69,982. Can you explain that category and why the decrease?
Somebody's somewhere else.
Okay,
So as we come across this and evaluate this every year, some people get miscoded in a wrong function or in a wrong object. And we readjust them to, so it may have been a person who was in the high school as a secretary, and then they get hired into attendance, but then they stayed on the high school secretary payroll. We called it, and then we adjusted it at year end.
so we didn't eliminate the position, it's just we haven't
That's
adjusted
correct.
where the money's going from.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, that's what that is.
okay, then page 6, 72130, other student, other contract services, a decrease of 123,364. Can you explain that big decrease? It says other contracted services, it went from 175 to 52,501.
The SRO grant.
SRO grant, oh, yeah.
It's
So,
where it's not, no longer in there anymore for SROs.
Oh, okay.
so, yeah, we received a grant from the state
Okay.
that was labeled the SRO
Right.
grant.
The
That
one
went
you
away
referred to
and it just rolls into TISA funding.
earlier. Page 8. 72220 at the very bottom, special education, other contracted services went down by 80,943. Could you explain that?
Is that the,
It's in there.
It's 72220, special
Is that a-
education, 399.
hold on, Dr. Lemay?
The salary?
It is.
No, a salary?
It was moved to a salary.
It was moved to a salary line.
Oh, so it was gonna, other contracted services. So we were looking at speech teacher or school, was it speech teacher?
Behavior support.
Behavior support. So we were contracting that out, couldn't find a position, so we moved it back into salaries to be able to fund them, hire our own employee. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So rather than paying an outside contractor, we're paying somebody internally.
Yeah, so we had it in salaries,
Right.
moved it out because we couldn't fill the position,
Mhm.
contracted with a vendor to fill the position. Now we're moving it back to, try to fill the position.
Page 12, towards the bottom, 7620 maintenance, other contracted services, an increase of $30,000. Can you tell me what that category is, please?
I'm sure that's HVAC work,
Okay,
as you
so
saw,
like perfection work?
no, like Tennessee Mechanical,
Oh, for the Patriot Academy in the high school.
and just in general, Maury, Talbot, it's got a little bit of work needs done on its front end, HVAC work, but that's, I would say that 75% of that cost is spent on HVAC.
Okay, and lastly, page 13. Transportation, 189, other salaries and wages, looks like it went down by 89,310. And I was wondering,
The line above it went up 90,
okay,
so it was moving,
it,
it's bus monitors.
it's just an account movement.
Just added the bus monitors,
Gotcha.
the 90,000.
Increase.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. I'm done.
Ms. Andrews?
Anybody else want to speak? Anybody on the floor?
The only thing I say, I'm glad we're getting our employees a 4% raise this year. That's very, I know it ain't much, but, it's something they get every year. You know, we try, and I hope y'all would continue that next year to look at the stuff and everything, continue to help. 'Cause that's how you keep people here, that's how you keep, you know. And something else I want y'all to look at, we can or whatever, is how we starting how's our custodians, Tommy, doing on our custodians in school? I just want to ask, because I know we start them at 12 something, and then they can go to McDonald's and make 15, 16. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to see, how is our custodian, you know, I'm
Right.
just,
We are working on that. You know, we have some custodians that make, 16, 17 an hour. They've been here for a long
Yeah,
time.
I understand.
But, you know, come July 1 starting out, you're at $12.75. But you also get the same benefits as every other employee. So, you also are in the retirement system. And that's going good. We did increase custodial 20 additional days this year to move them to year-round so that we can have You know, I know that we've had some concerns just on the, first of all, the cleanliness of our schools. Sometimes whenever we have 3 custodians at a school and one of them quits and one of them, you know, has a medical leave for whatever, there are no sub-custodians. So, you know, principals, different people dig in and try to get stuff swept up the best they can. So moving them to year-round hopefully will help. And, you know, we keep striving. I know that we added benefits and a life insurance policy is in the budget for this year for part-time employees to move that forward.
Thank you, Tom. I just want.
This increase of 22 days, 28 days, from does that, will they get paid year round, just like the teachers and all?
Yeah, so every employee gets paid year-round.
Year round.
Year-round. So they get a check every month. So this will just, they'll work another month, but they'll get paid another month. And I think it'll benefit them in the long run. There again, we're not forcing it. Well, I mean, somebody hired in the past few years, but may not have an option. But, you know, if Cindy over there at Newmarket's been there for 12 years and she needs to take care of somebody for that month and can only work 11 months, you know, we're gonna allow her to stay 11 months. But, you know, somebody hired in the past 3 years may not have that option. So, I want property tax. Can you?
So it's reappraisal year this year. I'm sure you all received those fun letters in the mail. So I have budgeted the current property tax based on last year's property rate. Our current property tax rate is $2.30. I believe the schools receive, I think it's 81 pennies out of the $2.30. So the schools receive 81 pennies, and that's what calculates that amount that's budgeted there. Since it is reappraisal year, my understanding that I possibly won't even have a certified rate until end of May. So, I guess where I would like to is the certified rate will move your property tax rate back and it'll generate the same amount of revenue that you're looking at right now. If county commission was to increase that rate at that moment, obviously you all are not requesting an increase, so I wouldn't see any additional pennies going towards the schools because you have a maintenance of effort, and if they did that, that would increase your maintenance of effort. I guess I would just like to say, if this were to pass this evening, it could potentially change just a few dollars one way or the other, since I don't even really know what our certified tax rate is right now. So if it were to pass, if it could be put in the motion that we're allowed to move it to the correct certified rate at that time. That way, just in case it does change it a couple of dollars, one way or another, it's supposed to equalize, shouldn't, but I would hate to change you $20 off and you guys say I did not vote on use of fund balance, that additional $20, or if it went the other way. So this is a little different this year since we're in reappraisal year and we're passing our budget and presenting our budget so early. I mean, we have to continue, business continues on, so we can't hold it up waiting on that. But if you have any questions on the property tax, don't ask me.
Well,
Call Susan.
You talked about maintenance effort, so there, the county property tax rate $11,152,979, that's guaranteed, correct?
Yes, sir.
I mean, so for sure gonna get that.
It is, but
No matter what.
if it was to adjust rounding or anything, I just need that in there since you're presented
It won't
this.
go below that number, we might get
No.
more than that.
It might increase a little bit, so,
Right.
But if you're voting on this one particular use of fund balance, $106,830, the comptroller's office is picky on details, so, if I present it to budget committee and you've passed it as this and we have to adjust it slightly, if you could give me a little leverage there.
Chairman.
As long as it does not decrease, you can put that in your motion. As long as it does not decrease the amount,
Now, what do you want in the motion?
that's a good
How do you
question.
want it worded?
Since the certified tax rate has not come out yet, I would just, if it could be included in the motion that, as long as it is equivalent to the certified tax rate and does not reduce the amount that is in the current property tax.
I make a motion to approve his budget and what she said.
Okay.
So,
Oh, it has to be separate?
okay. Is everybody through discussion?
No, I just have.
Or do you have a question?
Um,
We'll get back to you. You got it here, Moose.
No, you could.
Okay.
and this is to sort of go with what, Moose was talking about with paying. I know for the past couple of years, since I've been here, the TAs have come and talked about getting on a pay scale. Since they do have to go through extra school and they're doing RTI, things like that, you know, they're all but teachers. And they do a whole lot more work than what they used to. And I know it can be done this year, but I hope that in the next budget, we can sort of start looking towards, since we'll have a better grasp of TISA and things like that, and all this property tax business will be behind us, trying to get them moved to some sort of a pay scale like the surrounding counties have, if possible, just to help them out.
Yeah, and they are not on, teacher assistants are not on the bottom tier of entrance level. So if 1275 is the entrance level for an employee, then teacher assistants are already a couple of steps higher. I believe they're at 1325. Don't hold me to that, but they're at least 2 steps, they may be 3 steps above entrance level pay. Carol's not here, but they're either 325 or 350.
And that's hourly though, correct? I mean, that's
So
hourly.
no matter where we put them, they will be on an hourly rate. So right now, they're figured on a set salary, based on an hourly rate. So they will always be on an hourly rate. All employees who are not, certified have to be on an hourly rate. For federal regulations, whatever that may be. So even if we put them on a scale, it's based on an hourly rate.
Yeah.
Everybody done? Right. So we have a motion on the floor. Let me repeat the motion here, Moose, this evening. Okay, so you're making a motion to approve the Jefferson County Schools FY 24-25 budget with allowances for certified tax rate. That covered.
Yes, it will not decrease because you have a maintenance of effort.
So by putting that with allowances for
Yeah.
certified tax rate.
That's
Give
perfect.
you is that
Thank you.
enough? Is that kind of what you would think?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What you said.
What you- I
Thank you.
get time.
Is there a second to the motion? Mr. Drake seconds the motion. So a motion been made and seconded to approve the Jefferson County Schools FY 24-25 budget with allowances for the certified tax rate. Right. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, then I will put the question. All those in favor of approving the Jefferson County Schools FY 24-25 budget with allowances for certified tax rate. Raise your right hand as a yes vote, and it is unanimous. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Can I say
Well,
one thing?
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
I'll quit, everybody's ready.
No, you're fine.
I really, really just want to say thank you all, to you guys and to the finance department staff. Elijah and Joy have put hours, as well as central office, all the directors, department heads. Lots of time was put into this, so thank you to basically Dr. Arnold and his staff and the finance department staff for this year going much smoother.
Yeah, if I may, speak to this, just saying, when I was started out on the board, the budget was not this easy, folks. It was,
6 weeks
Moses
and
here,
29 days.
and you know what I'm talking about.
6 weeks and 29 days.
We went into September once there before, October before we got a budget. So thank you, thank you, and thank this guy here, all the people in the finance department. All I gotta do is come in here and raise my hand, I love it. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn? A motion to adjourn, is there a second? I second it, all those in favor?
Go home.
Stand up, do something, I don't know.